A lot of ignorant people always assume that Europeans really helped Africans with civilization. And I always say, wow, poor Africans, how did our ancestors even manage to survive on this planet for thousands of years before Europeans started existing 8,000 years ago? Poor Africans, we had to wait for Europeans to start existing 8,000 years ago for them to help us build our civilization. How did our ancestors even manage to explore this planet before the continental drift without the help of Europeans? Sit down, I'll tell you. Before contact with Europe, Africans lived by the spirit of Ubuntu, which stipulated we are because nature is. And because of this, our ancestors knew everything we needed we already had in nature. For example, the field of medicine was basic common knowledge in ancient Africa, even to children, because our ancestors knew and understood that plants look like the body parts they cure. For example, carrots look like the eye because they cure the eye. Kidney beans look like kidney because they are good for the kidney. Avocado looks like the uterus. Olives look like the ovaries. Ginger resembles the stomach because it helps with stomach issue. Sweet potato and pancreas are identical. Walnut and the brain go together. Tomatoes or cactus and the heart. Mushroom and the ear, banana and the teeth. The list is endless. Every European invention you see around today was already in Africa long before the coming of the white man. Even telephones is just a plastic replica of mycelium communication that Africans enhanced by putting gold on top of the pyramids. But today, Wi-Fi is the upside down version of our ancient pyramids. The only things that colonial civilization brought are cancer, diabetes, obesity, addiction, HIV, shorter lifespan, slavery, poverty, and colonization. Africa was not just the cradle of mankind. Africa is also the cradle of civilization. The only difference is that Africa went the Ubuntu way, while the colonizer went the fuck nature way.
How the ancient Egyptian civilization redefined the world. The ancient Egyptians were one of the first civilizations to use hieroglyphics, and their writing system was a great advance in communication. Hieroglyphic writing was a great advance in communication. Egyptian hieroglyphics were used as early as 3000 BC and continued to be used until about 700 AD. The ancient Egyptians were one of the first civilizations to use hieroglyphics, and their writing system was a great advance in communication. Recent archaeological finds in Africa. Homo sapiens is not an African invention. The origin of the Homo sapiens is not a mystery anymore. Recent archaeological finds in Africa have shown that our species was born and bred on this continent. According to the study, the oldest Homo sapiens fossil ever found in Africa is from Morocco. This discovery reveals that Homo sapiens evolved from their predecessors, such as Homo heidelbergensis and Homo rhodesiensis, in Africa about 300,000 years ago. This is a major discovery for all of us because it means that we are all Africans. In Africa, civilizations flourished independently of the influence of any other continent. The accomplishments of these early civilizations are as varied and diverse as their cultures. Africa is the birthplace to many great civilizations, including the Kingdom of Kush, which was located in present-day Sudan and Ethiopia, the Kingdom of Aksum, which was located in present-day Ethiopia, and the West African civilization of Ghana. The Kingdom of Kush was one of the most powerful African kingdoms during its time, and it is known for developing one of Africa's first writing systems. It is the fact that Europeans did not help Africa with civilization. They colonized them, enslaved them, and took their resources. Now they are coming to Africa and offering technology to them as if they have done anything to help Africa. It is the fact that Europeans did not help Africa with civilization that has caused the problems in Africa today. By not allowing them to develop their own culture, African nations now struggle with deep-rooted issues such as poverty, violence, and disease. Europeans settled in Africa and introduced the African people to many aspects of civilization such as education, religion, food and commerce. Europeans did not help Africans with these things because they felt like it was their duty to help them.